Thanks for tuning in to Yappin N Shxt, where we as brothers and friends hop on the mics and have conversations. Sometimes they're serious, sometimes they're not. Sometimes we react, and sometimes we just yap. We appreciate you tuning in and hope you enjoy the episode.
Well, now we got the, like always, technical difficulties out of the way. We're here. How's it going, man? How's this week for you?
Good so far. Yeah, no, I mean it's good so far. It's been pretty quick, I would say.
Mhm.
Quiet, just because I think we're reaching that point in the year where things start to slow down.
Yeah.
For working on a college campus, they're prepping for, end of semester or quarter system, wherever you're at. I'm on a semester system now, but their last day of class is technically tomorrow. And then they have, and it's kind of a weird setup they have here. Like their last day of class is tomorrow, and then they have a Thursday break, and then they have finals Friday, Saturday, a break Sunday, and then finals on Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, oh, that's interesting that they do it that way. But I mean, hey, it is what it is. And then Tuesday is kind of like the last finals day, and then everything shuts down next Wednesday kind of thing.
Right.
So that's kind of how it is. And then after they all leave, after that last operation meal on that Wednesday, then it's like dead quiet. So yeah. And then I fly home, I think the 20th at the night, or the 21st, one of the two.
Oh, so you're coming back for the holidays?
Yeah.
Nice, man. Or for how long?
I think we fly out. I'm pretty sure we're flying. We had debated the driving versus flying thing.
Yeah.
But then it's
You don't
like,
want to risk possible snow over the mountains.
Yeah, if we drive, we do have to cross the California mountains. Like going through Oregon wouldn't be the issue.
Yeah.
It's the mountain pass between Oregon and California that's
Right.
that you spend like an hour and a half to 2 hours in.
Right.
So
And
that's really what it is.
yeah, when we're in the quote unquote snow season, Washington doesn't really get hit. It just gets cold, but then
At least the western part of Washington.
Yeah, true. But along the I-5 corridor from Oregon all the way south to whatever point of North California, that's snow, and real snow. So
oh yeah.
So you might have a no non-white Christmas for this holiday here in Washington, but you guys would definitely get hit.
Oh, we would definitely, yeah. It would be like if we did drive, because that obviously limits our time too, right? Is that because we're gonna take a full day driving to and from.
Yeah.
But it would be those situations. Like obviously, I'd need to get some chains because I haven't had to put chains on the car in a long time. I don't even know if these chains even fit my car. They were from my previous car.
I mean, honestly, I haven't done one yet before.
Yeah.
And but I was looking up, by the way, side note, I was looking up a few. There's so many alternatives now. I mean, obviously chains is the old fashioned tried and true, but there's like so many government approved like variations like that are like for example, I'm butchering this, I don't know the actual name, but one of the most popular is called is like the glove or the sock, where you literally put it over your wheel, or your tires, like a glove, and the traction is similar or better just as chains. Yeah, look it up. There's so many variations, and because I've never put one on before, and so I kind of like, if we're ever going to go through the past, and especially during the winter time, in the foreseeable future, it's like I'm nervous because I can never put chains on, but then it relieves the anxiety of that with all these like alternative products, that are government approved. Yeah, look it up.
Snow socks.
Snow socks I think is one of them. Let me see.
but
Um,
you are limited to 25 miles an hour
I feel like there was one
for those
that
ones.
was yeah. I um yeah, I feel like there's other brands. No, so Snow Socks is one of them, but there's another one. But anyways, check them out. Check them out. It's crazy the alternatives that are out there.
Yeah, that is kind of crazy that
Yeah.
that's a thing.
Um,
I didn't
yeah.
realize all of that.
Yeah, because
Well,
we were
I guess snow socks is basically like the. I mean, that's technically there is a brand called Snow Socks, but I
right,
think
right,
they're
right.
actually like the item itself is described as snow socks.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
And I know
Um,
obviously the other ones your studded tires, but that's not necessarily something that gets sold in either of our areas often.
right, right.
Like if you're in Montana, probably everywhere, right? Because
Yeah,
Montana's just snow all the time in the winter.
right,
So like you have studded tires for those cold months and stuff.
right.
Um, but again, it's a little different, right? Because like snow, driving through packed snow or snow, a little different than driving through like Seattle freeze. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, the ice is
Still,
different.
don't matter what you have on ice, you're sliding
Yeah,
everywhere, anyways.
yeah. No, but yeah. So check
But
that
yeah,
out if you ever need it.
yeah. I mean, if we decide
Yeah,
to drive, then yeah, it's one of those things. I think we've decided that we're flying though, just because it just saves us a lot of time
yeah,
in like tiredness in time
yeah.
kind of thing. Um, it's nice to have our own car, obviously, because then if we need to bring anything back up or back down, we have that. We have the freedom. We're not reliant on another person's car or
Mm-hmm.
renting a car
Mm-hmm.
because that's been a disaster.
Yeah,
So, yeah, it's just one of those things, and that's kind of why we had really considered it. But I think we're flying for sure,
yeah.
which
Just
we
bring,
need to purchase the tickets at this point, just because that's next week. Crazy.
yeah.
Um,
Just bring a extra suitcase. Pack light. Bring an extra suitcase.
yeah, we did that last year, and it was funny. It's so funny because like, one of the gifts that I got was a book, but the book literally weighed like probably 15 pounds. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, okay, I don't know. That's going to take up the majority of the weight in
Yeah,
my bag. So that's going to be intense. Um, I know. I think we're at that point too, because it's like, wait, we're flying. Don't give us anything unless you plan to ship it to us.
mm-hmm.
Because I know one of the things that we kind of joked about was like, I don't know if you've seen this, but um, like those Breville espresso machines that have been going on sale at like TJ Maxx and stuff. And if you can find one, it's a really good price. It's like under $500, and these things are normally
Uh,
like 800 to 1,000.
Breville.
Breville, yeah. And so we were joking. We're like, maybe we'll just ask for that as kind of like a thing. If you're wanting to do that, send us that. Or like, if we drove, it would make more sense just for us to pick it up and bring it with us. But
Yeah. Oh yeah, these are nice looking.
I know they're super nice, but like if you can find them at a TJ Maxx, they're usually under $500 and they're
Yeah.
normally pretty pricey. Um,
Yeah, I see them.
and honestly,
There's a
that's an
mini version.
investment. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an
There's a mini
investment, but
version
it would
for
be but I would be making my own espresso drinks in the morning. I would be saving all the money from Costco, or not Costco, but Starbucks or
yeah,
whatever
or
coffee
any
place you go to.
yeah.
Because even though they have no additional costs on dairy alternatives now at like Starbucks, for instance, they don't charge you
Mm-hmm.
extra anymore. You're still paying like $6 to $7 for a drink, depending on the size.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. You could be spending, 2,500 to 3,000 on Starbucks coffee or whatever throughout the
Yeah.
year versus this, and you're just paying for beans, and we already have grinders and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Uh, so it's just one of those things. Just buying the grounds and stuff, you'd
Mm-hmm.
save a lot of money just on that in general.
Oh yeah.
And I would perfect the art of whatever coffee I'm making or espresso.
Yeah.
And I've always liked the process. That's why I like pour over when I do grounds and stuff. We have a coffee machine that we can do our own like K cups or whatever it might be.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things. I just It would be kind of cool. But again, to
Yeah.
the point, like I'm not putting that in my suitcase. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Exactly. That's
Um,
huge.
yeah, it's huge. So it's like we're at a point where like you better either get us something light in talking to family members who are listening to this episode. Um, if you listen to it before we get there, uh, it's one of those things. You either got to give us something very light that we can pack, um, preferably something useful.
Hmm.
I know some people like to give plushies or whatever that might be to us. Not to call anybody out, but stuff that's like cute, but
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
not super useful at the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, we're at a point too because we're traveling, and if we're flying, it's like give us a couple things that are like that we can use, but also like money. I mean,
Hmm.
like it's so much easier, and not a gift card. Don't give me a gift card
Yeah.
because like gift cards are so limited in what we can do. If it's an Amazon gift card, cool, that's fine. But like if you give like, in the past I've gotten so many different gift cards, whether it be like DoorDash, I'm like, that's cool, but I don't really use DoorDash all that
Yeah.
much. It's a very once in a blue moon type of thing. If I get one,
Yeah.
cool. I'm more tempted to do it, but that's it's not super useful to me. In unless I'm like sick, like obviously
Yeah.
when we got like sick and had COVID or something, I door dashed groceries because I'm like, I'm not going
Yeah.
outside, or Instacart or whatever it is. And like some friends are super nice and they'll be like, oh, I got you a hotels.com gift card. And I'm like, yeah, but that means I got to book through hotels.com, just like,
Yeah.
or like a Visa gift card. I'm like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's cool, but and it's easy because it's not cash, but like I can not donate. I don't know why I said donate, but I can deposit the cash in the
Right.
bank before I
Right.
leave. You know what I mean? So it's like then it becomes useful.
Yeah. Something so obscure like uh someone in California giving you a Golden Corral gift card or something like that.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
something so obscure. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, I can only
Um,
use that here.
yeah.
Yeah, or like it would be funny is like, oh, I got you like how they have a Costco like um the Terrace Club tickets for the Mariners or whatever it is.
Hmm.
It's like, oh, it's a voucher for 2 tickets in the Terrace Club for whatever game you want to go to. And I'm like, but that requires me to fly back up.
Exactly.
I'm like, I got to spend more money to use this gift.
Yeah.
That's like me bringing up the same thing for the San Francisco Giants up to Washington and be like, here you go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, what am I going to do with this? I'm like, well, you're going to have to
Yeah.
fly down and watch a game with us. So
Oh
I don't know.
man.
It's funny. Yeah, it's almost like, yeah, just give me cash, write me a check, whatever it is, something that I can use. I'm not to downplay like a gift. Like gifts are nice, but it has to be something that's light, obviously, that we can
Hmm.
bring home, or fits in our suitcase. I think
Right.
last year we both of our parents got us. It's so funny. Both of our parents got like those little the little like blenders, like little cup blenders for us.
I think so. I know what you're talking about. You could
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
blend by
Yeah, like
pushing on it.
like the little blend jet type
Yeah.
things, but they
Yeah.
weren't necessarily blend jet, just another brand or whatever. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's like a blender, just like a little it's almost like a NutriBullet kind of thing, but it's not as
Yeah.
big. It's a battery powered, cup where the lid's the blender. But it's funny because we had four of these things that we had to bring home, and I'm like, bro, our suitcase is going to go through that X-ray thing, and they're going like, what the hell are all these blades in here? I'm
Yeah.
like, no, it's a blender, I swear. Why we have
Yeah.
four of them? You know, both of our parents got them for us, so
Yeah. Yeah.
it was a nice gesture, but like,
Jeez, man.
yeah,
Oh.
and it's like a stocking stuffer type of thing, so it's like,
Hmm.
oh my god, why do we have four of these? We don't need four. And it is kind of funny because like obviously because they're like that type of gift, it's not the strongest blender in the world. I
Yeah.
think with the first time we tried it, like couldn't even grind ice. And I'm like, okay,
Oh, jeez.
this is not great.
Yeah. It's
So we
more of
ended
a
up just bringing
glorified
our
mixer.
no, literally just a mixer because like I was like, I
Yeah.
can't even make a smoothie with this. So, then I had to bust out like our blender, like our Ninja blender.
Yeah.
I'm like, all
Yeah.
right, I guess I'm just going back to using this bulky blender, but it gets the effect that I want, the thing
Yeah.
that I want. Anyways, yeah.
Yeah.
So long story
Well,
short, yes, we're flying home next Friday evening, I believe, is when we're coming.
okay.
So we'll be in
Yeah.
town essentially. Yeah, that's Saturday the 21st through Saturday the 28th, because then we fly out the 29th, I believe. It's either the
Mm.
29th or the 30th. I can't remember. I believe it's the 29th because I think Allie goes back to work on the 30th.
Yeah. 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 Maybe we'll catch you guys, get some dinner or something.
Yeah.
You get everyone together, maybe.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Well,
It would
yeah.
be cool. I know we have to go see our wedding venue while
Oh,
we're
there you go.
back.
Yeah.
So I know we have to do that because we have to talk about some details
Yeah.
with the coordinator, uh,
Yeah.
just because we're going to be in town.
Yeah.
That's obviously, the hardest part of coordinating anything out of state is,
Yeah.
well, I can talk to you as much as I can, but I can't really do anything until I'm there. Uh,
Exactly. Oh, that's gonna be fun.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
that's kind of the hard part. Obviously, is normally I would, being an event planner myself, normally I would have most of these details already planned out,
Yeah.
like the caterer and our photographer and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But because we're out of state, it's hard because like you reach out to them and they're like, oh, we can do a tasting for you. I'm like, the issue is that I am not in the state that you are in, so I'm gonna have to figure this out.
Wait, and they don't know that by now?
No. Some of them do. So they were like,
Yeah.
oh, well, when's the next time you're gonna be in? Like when we
Yeah.
and stuff. It's like, oh, and probably not till Christmas. I'm like, it's October. I'm like, oh, well, that's
Yeah.
kind of our busy time. I'm like, well, you asked. I'm not gonna fly up just to do a one tasting. If I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna have like multiple things on the same day, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
fly up and do that. But
Well,
none of y'all schedules.
have you guys booked it yet?
Our caterer? No,
No, I
unfortunately.
meant like the venue.
Yeah. We have a venue. We have a
Oh,
coordinator.
nice.
So we have all that. We just don't. We've talked to a few photographers. We've talked to a few DJs and a
Yeah.
couple of caterers, but just haven't found the right one yet. And I know
Yeah.
it feels like obviously in the, I would like this done already, right? These are the things that are like super important. You got to get on top of.
Yeah.
So like I would like this done already, selected and good to go, but that's not the reality that we're in. Unfortunately, being out of state makes it a little harder. So it's not like I can just be like, yeah, I can come after work. Yeah, I can meet with you after work. Can't taste through a Zoom call. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And like I said, you did a destination wedding, so like
Yeah.
you're familiar with that process. So
Yeah.
you know, the advantage I have is obviously I know a lot of the people in the industry in Washington. So it's like, it's nice that way. But at the same
Yeah.
time, I'm also like, but I can't pick like without seeing it in person kind of thing. That's the hard part. Right. Um,
Right. Which is nice because you're technically doing a destination wedding,
yeah.
but
Yeah. For
the
us.
destination for you guys because everyone's pretty much here.
Yeah.
Outside of like your few family and possible friends that are out of state.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of hard because like obviously we can try to send, someone in our place. Um, but then, it's kind of like, well, that might be biased to their taste versus ours. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like, it's hard. So like, we feel like in the sense of a timeline, we're a little behind in booking those things.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
all works out in the end, but right now I'm like, obviously it's almost the end of the year and I'm like,
Yeah.
it's kind of, I would have rather had these things selected, but
Yeah.
it's kind of hard when you're not there all the time.
Yeah.
Uh, and meetings don't coincide with the time you're in town. So it's kind of,
Yeah.
yeah,
Nice, man. I did.
that's,
Yeah. Congrats on that. I didn't know. Did I forget? Or I knew you guys were looking in town, but or in state, but here, but I didn't know that you guys officialized it.
yeah. Yeah. I think we mentioned it the last time we were visiting.
Like it's up north, right?
Yeah.
Like the winery somewhere. No.
Yeah, in that area.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, you mentioned it, but I don't think I remember or I forgot that you guys said that. Like I knew you guys were looking at it,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you
yeah.
were considering it, but I didn't know that you guys finally booked it. So congrats, man.
Oh yeah, I know that's kind of the
Yeah.
big thing.
Yeah, that's the one of the biggest things. Yeah.
Well, yeah, especially like yeah, because that's the hard part, right? When you don't have all of that stuff,
Yeah.
you
You
when
guys looked at it
that's your
though,
important
right?
thing. Yeah, we looked
Yeah.
at it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of those things like they were holding the date for us, and then
Yeah.
we wanted to look at it, but then someone else mentioned they wanted that date, so we kind of had to
Hmm.
book it without seeing it.
Yeah, yeah.
So luckily, luckily we went up there and saw it, and we're like, okay, okay, it's
Okay.
yeah, 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 because we could
Yeah,
only
that's
see
good.
it through video call and stuff, and
Right, which is not the same.
no,
It's
it's
not the
not,
same.
it's not.
It's like it's like buying a house or I'm guessing it's similar to like moving into a new place. You
Hmm.
have to get the feeling, that's why they do walkthroughs.
Hmm.
And it's the same with the venue, especially if you're going to spend that much. It got to feel right. It,
Oh
it
yeah.
could be it could be the most prestige, most amazing views, but if it
Hmm.
doesn't feel right, it's not right.
Oh yeah, no, no, no,
Um,
for sure. Yeah, like
yeah,
in me being in the profession that I am, like being a
yeah,
venue manager too. It's like I get that, and that's
yeah,
why I recommend to like everyone that's trying to book a meeting, a banquet, or anything like that,
yeah.
to come and look at the space first, because like pictures can do it, a good justice, but like you won't know until you're in the space to
Right,
be like
right,
feeling it, and you're like, oh, maybe this isn't the space for me,
right,
or
right,
like maybe it's like, wow, this is actually great.
right.
It's much better than I thought it was going to be. So it's
Good.
just one of those. I always That's how I usually
Yeah,
have people when they start reaching. We'd love to book it. I'm like, well, hold it. You got like 4 months. Come to the venue first. Take a look. Make
yeah,
sure it's actually what you want. I don't want you coming in to do a check like a week before and be like, oh my god, what did we do? You know what I mean?
yeah,
So yeah, I get that part. So yeah, for us, that's why like, it was like, oh, we'll book it. And it's like, well, I gotta see it. It's hard. Like a video and pictures and having someone else go there and look at it is
yeah,
cool, but that's not our eyes. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Nice, man. Well, congrats. Um, so moving on. Let's talk football. It's been a while. And
Yeah.
for those in the know, for those who know, for our boys that are listening, I know Joe Margero um tends to listen a lot. Fantasy football is finally coming to an end. So we're getting to the point where win or lose, we get to finally enjoy watching football without the stress of playing fantasy football and making these gambles, right? I mean, like, we only gamble in the beginning by putting money in a pot. So
Mhm.
it's not like we're continuously losing money, but it's still gambling in a sense where you are picking and choosing which players are going to perform the betting right on which players are going
Right.
to perform the
Yeah.
best. And so fantasy football playoff time is here. Reactions. I honestly, dude, I was so by the way, in my other league,
Mhm.
I won last year because I had a dominant draft. Like I literally had three players in the top five all year. I had Christian McCaffrey, Tyreek Hill, and CD Lamb on my team, leading
Yeah.
the way. And so all year I only lost two games and won the championship while having the first round bye. And it's my other legacy league, which is also just as competitive, with different rules, obviously, but it's a league that I continue to play in because just like our UWT league is very competitive. Um, so so this week in our UWT league, obviously I controlled my own destiny, but I was in the scenario win and in, right? Um, and sorry, Ray. Thanks for making it easy. Knocked you out pretty well. I wasn't too worried. Um, and but anyways, going back to you, I was like checking the scores because I'm paying attention to scenarios, seeing like what's shaping up, and Bora and Jessen was pretty much set, right? Whoever loses is pretty much out.
Yeah.
However, I saw your score against Gerald, and this is before Jamar Chase, and I was just like, dude, I don't know if Tyler can come back, man. That you got beat pretty badly, almost like um obviously you save face, you didn't get beat badly,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
like unlike Mike Deep, with Sean
Yeah.
kicking his ass.
Bro,
But
Sean's team went off. Can I just say
yeah,
that he scored I think from his predicted score, and that's
yeah,
why he won the weekly prize this week, was that
yeah,
his predicted score, I believe, was like 101, and he scored
yeah.
159. And I was like, what the hell
Jeez.
is
Hold on, let me
bro?
look at
It's
his let me look at his team real quick. Let's see.
his
No,
team
but yeah,
outperformed itself by 101 was his predicted. He got 159. It's
uh
insane. I was like, what the hell?
yeah, he started Sam Darnold,
Yeah, who went
Josh
off?
Jacobs. Oh, he started Charbonnet. That was the kicker.
Oh yeah, Charbonnet was the
Charbonnet was the
kicker.
kicker. Yeah.
I mean, he would
Uh
have won without Charbonnet, but
yeah, yeah.
that's just the crazy part. He would have won without Charbonnet there.
Yeah. Because everyone else was, you know, fairly average or a little bit above average. It was the combination of Sam Darnold and Charbonnet
Yeah,
that did the most damage. Because, like Josh Jacobs, 24 points. I mean, that's above average. He's
yeah,
supposed to do that. Njoku, he's hit or miss, but he's supposed to do that with Jameis Winston. Um, yeah. So it was yeah, just Charbonnet and but anyways, going back to what I was saying. So I was looking at your score because in my other league, I'm still first place. And going into Monday night, I had a 20 something point lead,
yeah.
and the only player I battled against was Jamar Chase. So obviously I lost that one, but
Right.
however, I was still a game up from the next person. So
Mhm.
I still got my first round bye and ended the season 10-4. So not bad for a what I thought in this league, in my other legacy league, what I thought was a bad draft this year. Because spoiler why I love that league. I love our league too because just how close we are and like just how competitive we are and like the rules. I love like you and Gerald like commissioning this league is like a solid league. Um, but however, why I love the other league is because it's more of a family league, but there's a few like the commissioner who he has a couple friends who play, but it's mostly a family league
Yeah,
and it's very competitive and 10-man league, standard rules, PPR, a few little upgrades here and there, like in terms of like, for example, defense gets more, a point or two, if you have a 4 and out. So that kind of balances the defense scale. And you get one keeper every year, but you can only keep them once. So that means if you kept them the previous year, you can't keep them again.
mm,
Um, and but what makes it so competitive in that league as well is one of the requirements is that you must be there in person in draft day. If you
right.
can't, you're off this year. It's so like we try to make it a habit, even if it's for a couple hours. Show up, draft, and get out if you have to. Um, because there's a no phone, no electronics rules.
Right.
So over the years, we had to kick out some managers because as it got so competitive over time, you can tell the people who just kind of showed up, dropped their cash, in the pot, and but the way that this league is set up with no phones and you must be in person, you got to study before, meaning at least you got to do a couple hours of mock draft just to see who's on the board, right?
Mhm.
And it's so competitive. And on top of that, because it's like a family home league, what kind of fucks you up is that you take a shot before every pick.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So that's another kicker. And this year, I thought I had a bad draft because um, I kind of panicked. I might have drank a little bit too much, celebrated my championship a little bit too much.
Yeah.
So I panic picked with my first round pick. I was fifth overall. Um, and I panic picked with my fifth pick. I picked Saquon Barkley. Now that in hindsight, that's not a panic pick because it's like he's the best running back, right?
Right.
However, the two picks that I forgot were after me that that were not franchise because they were franchise previously, so they're opened up again, was Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
Now you might say, well, Saquon Barkley is just as good. However, if I was planning for next year, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase is solid, like like 100%, 10 out of 10 franchise worthy, right?
Right.
Um, where Saquon Barkley, he's still franchise worthy, but based on his history, before the Eagles, he's like an 8 out of 10 franchiser, right? Because you never know if he's gonna get hurt and stuff. But obviously in hindsight, I made a good pick, but because I kind of panic pick and wasn't like focused like I used to be, um, I thought I had a bad draft this year, but turns out I still made it first place. And I mean, it's not as bad as the first picker this year,
Yeah.
where he was clowning me all night because he knew I couldn't franchise CMC again. So his
Hmm.
first pick obviously was CMC, and he had one of the worst years.
Yeah.
He actually because it's a 10-man, 6 people standard getting to the playoffs. Um, 5 of the 6 was already clinched, and so the guy with CMC literally controlled his own destiny. He had to win and get in. However, actually, after looking at it, even though he didn't clinch the 6th spot, he got it.
Yeah.
By the way, even if he lost, which he did, he lost. But however, his tiebreaker was the point differential.
Mm.
Like the guy who beat him to try to get into that 6th place, not only did he have to win, he had to get like a point differential of like 200 points. So either
Yeah.
way, he wasn't gonna win. So my brother-in-law right now is facing that guy, and he pretty much has an easy seed because that guy's team is so beat up. I mean, um, obviously he had CMC, he had Jordan Mason. Obviously, Jordan Mason's out.
Yeah.
He had he still has Debo, but Debo is like obviously not doing really good. I know because I have Juwan Jennings, who's basically the number one right now. Um,
You're welcome.
yeah, thank you. And so yeah, and I have the number one buy. But anyways, long story short, I just wanted to brag about that. Going back to our league, yeah, Jamar Chase, he is a
Yeah.
killer, man.
You never feel out when you have Jamar Chase,
No,
especially when you stack him with Joe Burrow.
yeah.
Because if Chase is getting points, Burrow's getting points. So
Was
I
that
know
your only
go,
2 players
huh?
last night? Was that your
Yeah.
only 2 players?
Yeah.
So tell everyone who's not in our league and is listening, before Monday night and those 2 players, how many points were you down by?
I was down 72
Yeah,
and a half points. Or
72 points.
70, yeah, 72, or no, I was down 71 and a half points.
Yeah, and then even though you lost, what was the final score, or what was the final differential?
Less than 2 points.
It's yeah.
So like
Honestly, man.
literally
Yeah,
one more catch
yeah,
of 10 yards, I would have won.
yeah.
But
Honestly, man, you're the scary team right now because Jamar Chase, like at any moment, he can break off for a 60 point like he did earlier this year.
oh
Like,
yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I feel bad for
yeah,
and like earlier this year when I played Ray. Again, no
yeah,
offense to Ray. I mean, it was one of those things between my Jamar Chase literally beat Ray by himself that
yeah,
week.
yeah,
Everything else was icing at that point.
yeah.
But yeah, it was one of
Jeez.
those things like Gerald and I talked about it last night. Even it was just like, he was like, I felt pretty confident about me like just winning this week, and I was
Yeah,
like, I was like, honestly, I thought about giving you a GG's like on Sunday, but then I was like, I don't know, man. Anything can happen with Jamar
Yeah,
Chase and Joe Burrow. And the way the Cowboys have been playing, like they've been competitive, but they're
yeah,
prone to big plays. So I'm like, there's a chance.
yeah,
And it sucks because obviously I only lost by like 1.5 points.
yeah.
Um,
But what a
it
comeback though.
it was a monster comeback. Granted, my team didn't help any in other categories. Jaden Reed, who's
Yeah,
posted on average 15 or more points most of the
yeah,
season, laid a goose egg. They didn't even target him the entire game
yep,
against Detroit, which is
yep. Which
insane
is
against
wild.
Detroit.
Yeah, which
I'm
is
just like,
wild.
what the heck? um, yeah, of all games, like I'm like, what are we doing? Um, but then then I decided to gamble here and bet on Arizona's defense
Yeah,
because the Seahawks one play like shit in Arizona. For going back to Pete Carroll's early days,
yeah,
weird shit happens in Arizona. And the Arizona Cardinals, we played them 2 weeks ago. They haven't allowed a touchdown in 3 weeks. So, it was like one of those things. I was like, all right, knowing the Seahawks, they're usually good to give up 3 to 4 sacks a game.
yeah,
Well, you know, I love my Hawks, obviously, but motherfuckers, they couldn't give up one sack.
yeah,
They chose week 14 to be like, oh, we figured it out. Let's protect Jim,
yeah.
not allow any sacks, any key
Right,
touches,
right.
thing. And I
And
was just like, damn, you
right.
couldn't get like
The
one sack.
line,
That's
the
all I
old
needed.
line with the new. I mean, hey man, my McDonald's the genius. I know we'll talk a little bit more about the Seahawks
Oh,
in a bit. I
absolutely.
want,
Yeah.
but real quick, I want to say that old line
Yeah.
is amazing. And so for
Yeah.
all you fantasy footballers out there, my opinion, don't take too much into what Zach Charbonnet did. He's 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 good, but Ken Walker is still that much better. Like
Yeah.
imagine Ken Walker. By the way, I have Ken Walker in my other league, but obviously he was
Same.
out.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, Ken, don't forget Ken Walker's been the past couple games. They're playing stout defensive lines.
Yeah.
Sure, it's the Jets. It's the Arizona was actually a little bit better. But remember, we didn't have the Samoa kid.
Yeah.
I don't want to say Samoa, but isn't his name also like Samea or something like that?
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
so.
so I didn't mean to say Samoa kid. I tried to say his name, Somea or whatever. But remember, against Arizona, we didn't have him. The Jets D line is like one of the best D lines. And remember, our old line wasn't and against the Jets, that was Somea's first time playing a full starting NFL game. So I gotta say, man, I love Charbonnet, but and I hope that um in the off season after we make a deep playoff run, shit, maybe even we make the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
knock on wood. But after in the off season, when we collect our thoughts, and Mike McDonald collect his notes, I hope that he sees what Sonic and what is their nicknames? Jameer Gibbs and
Oh,
and
Sonic and
Montgomery.
Knuckles.
Sonic and Knuckles are doing,
Yeah.
and Ken Walker and Zach Charbonnet can be that, like I can see Ken Walker be the Jameer Gibbs to David Montgomery's, Zach Charbonnet. However, unlike Detroit, you give Gibbs more of the starting role, right? So that's K9. But yeah, Zach, that was amazing to see. I gotta say, you gotta give Zach Charbonnet his props
Oh
because
yeah.
he can be a starter anywhere. However, don't read into it too much, thinking that there's a running back starting controversy. There's not. That O line is finally. I mean, it's not top notch, but it's finally the best we've seen in a long, long time. And put K9 behind that line. Shoot, even Kenny McIntosh finally got some work and he looked great too
Oh yeah.
on his few
Yeah.
snaps.
No, he did.
Um and so yeah. Um uh I'm loving what I'm seeing. I hope
Yeah.
K9 comes back for
Oh yeah,
fantasy
yeah. I'm
football
I'm
playoffs because
loving I'm
I
loving
need
what
him.
we're seeing on offense from the
Yeah,
Hawks, protection wise and everything, and
yeah,
and finally getting some push for the running game. yeah, I was just like, damn, y'all really figured it out the week I went against you, because
Yeah, yeah,
obviously we psychoanalyze like all of our guys, right? Our team. We know our team better than any other team. We know
yeah,
other teams through fantasy and study their defenses and all that. But I'm like, no, this is our offense. We know it. We
yeah,
know our, our starting five up front. Don't
yeah.
always get it done.
I don't know,
Gino's
man.
usually pressured, but
Yeah,
it was one of those things. I'm like, it was odd to be a Seahawks fan on Sunday. After the first two
yeah,
minutes, you're like, oh shit, it might be a shootout. Arizona
yeah,
scored.
yeah,
But then after that, it was like, this is weird. I'm not stressed. I'm chilling.
yeah.
Just a chill guy watching football. Like, I'm not
Just a
yelling at the
chill guy.
TV. Like, literally,
Yeah,
I'm not even yelling at the TV. I'm like, huh, this is weird. My heart rate
yeah,
did not go
yeah.
above a certain,
I mean, yeah, it was it was beautiful to watch. I mean, like it's wild to see the breakdown from Kyler Murray. Like he looks so lost out there.
yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
it's yeah,
It's and it's funny because like Kyler Murray still had like 20 points. I know this
yeah,
because he's on my fantasy
yeah,
team.
yeah. And I have him in
Um,
my other league, and I
yeah,
started him as well.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's just yeah. I was just like, it's so funny to me because I was like, God damn it! Like I went
yeah,
the one week I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna go out on a limb and go with Arizona's defense
yeah,
just because the Seahawks, we give up sacks. That is not like a secret. Our quarterback gets sacked.
yeah,
Um, and it was like the week that they decide like, oh, we're gonna protect Gino like a fortress, and we're not
yeah,
gonna get anyone near him.
yeah,
And I was like, of course. So that did not help me in one bit. Like I was like,
yeah,
one sack would have saved me.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like that -1 on my defense. I was like, damn, y'all couldn't get like 1 point.
yeah. -1 and a
Just one.
0
Yeah,
from two of
-1 and a
your
0.
starters.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
lost by 1.5 points. And I'm like,
yeah,
God dang it, man. And it didn't help that Bucky Irving got hurt early
yeah.
too.
Oh, yep, that's another one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
his
Bucky
back
Irving.
took a hit to his back and he was out. And I'm
Yeah,
like, dang. So that was the hard part. Now I am expecting Jaden Reed to pop back. That had to have been a fluke. He's been averaging double-digit points all year.
yeah, that had to
Uh,
be a huge fluke. I mean, he did get hit pretty hard, but it didn't look like it took him out of the game.
no, he
I
was
saw,
still in the game. Yeah, he was
yeah,
still
I saw
running
that
routes and
catch.
stuff.
I remember he got hit or slammed pretty hard.
Yeah,
But then it didn't take him out. And
no,
then
he played the entire game. So that's why
yeah,
I was
which
like,
is
dang,
weird.
it's
Yeah,
so weird that like he didn't get any targets. And
yeah,
that's the other thing. They normally use him as like a jet sweep running back too. And they didn't
yeah,
even do that. And I'm like, dang,
yeah.
what the heck? What are we
Yeah,
doing?
no, the Packers look so weird. I
Yeah.
mean, I hope that's the Packers that come in Sunday night against our Hawks, but
I know
um
that's the other thing. I'm like, do I keep Jaden Reed in there because like he is going up against the Hawks?
yeah, yeah.
I mean,
I mean,
you know,
yeah, no, it's yeah, it's weird. Our Hawks are solid.
yeah,
Yeah, I
it's kind
started Marvin
of
Harrison against them, and now I don't know if it was just poor play all around, but Marvin Harrison had his targets. It was just he ended up with like 8 points, which is bullshit for how high I picked him.
yeah. Oh yeah, no,
Um,
for sure.
and I picked him high in both my leagues. He was my second pick overall in my other league, and I think also this league second pick
Mhm.
overall. I can't wait to drop him back in to the bucket.
Yeah.
But however, me saying that, he's probably going to be DeAndre Hopkins level next year. Now that they got it figured out, because if you watch him, he has the potential. It's just right now,
Yeah.
just bad timing with Kyler Murray.
Oh no, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. And it's that reason why I'm like really considering not starting Jaden Reed
yeah,
this week because right now like I have Jaden Reed in my flex.
hmm,
And I'm just not sure if I should keep him in my flex when I have Bucky Irving and Brian Robinson Jr. on my
right,
bench.
right,
And both of them, like Brian Robinson's going up against New Orleans, which pretty porous when it comes to the run game.
yeah,
And then Bucky Irvin's playing the Chargers, which they're pretty decent at stopping the run. Um, but our defensive backs have been kind of locking stuff up, and projected to rain, right, in Seattle this week,
Maybe.
over the weekend. So it's one of those things. But to the flip side of that, the Packers and the Seahawks games are weird, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just as weird as the Cardinals and the Seahawks playing in Arizona.
I mean, it's a new thing now. You
Yeah,
know.
it's a battle with the pack, and honestly, so many Packers fans show up to Lumen Field. They travel so
Mhm.
well to every
Yeah,
stadium. So yeah, I just don't know. So I it's going to be a game time decision on Sunday whether I want to go with him or not. Yeah, the hard part is obviously he's in Sunday night football versus the other
yeah,
two are morning games. So I'm like, well, I got to make that
yeah,
decision quick. So
yeah,
we'll see. But
yeah,
it's the winner of this goes on to face Aquan. So
yeah,
I know PK was in that lead driver's seat in that division the entire year, and then he lost it right at the end. So
yeah. But
we'll see. We'll
anyways,
see. And you're playing your kryptonite over here.
yeah. Seriously, Justin's my kryptonite. Like, I can never beat him. I don't know why. He just, he just has the right players at the right time. You
Yeah.
know.
I
And
mean, that's what it's all about, especially at this time of the year, too.
yeah. And it's not like because I put the right players at the right time as well. It's just they like you know his players just happen to have a crazy crazy week every time. But I never faced him in the playoffs. I don't think I have. Um let's see. Jalen Hurts might go off because they're playing Pittsburgh and they need to keep their lead. Both of them need to keep their lead.
Yeah.
So that might be a shootout. And obviously the tush push, he'll get at least one of those because I have
Yeah.
Saquon in my other league and he's so good at getting them on at least 3 times a game to the 1 yard line. And then
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts is like,
Yeah.
oh, I'll take over from here.
Yeah. Seriously.
Um, Smith and Jigba, honestly, man, he's uncontainable. I don't know if he'll go off, but he'll at least give him a good, decent amount of points.
Yeah.
Um, and then let's see, Pacheco hit or miss. George Kittle hit or miss, but more likely to hit.
Yeah.
Let's see who do they play. They play the Rams. And the Rams might be another shootout, but the Rams always finds a way, man. And then Mike Evans against the Chargers. Buccaneers need to stay alive too. So see, he has all the right players and all the right like scenarios to beat me again.
Yeah.
So I honestly, man, I'm just like that meme. I'm just a chill guy right now.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Just a chill guy.
I'm expecting a loss, but I'm just happy to make playoffs.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was telling Gerald too. I'm like, it sucked
Yeah,
that he beat me because then I lost the money for placing runner up in the division,
yeah,
which sucked,
yeah,
but it is what it is.
yeah,
But I won like 3 year-long things. So like
yeah,
I got like 30 or $40 on top of that. So I was like, oh, this is fine.
yeah. Yeah.
But
I don't know. It's been a weird year for me, but honestly, like fantasy is so tough that
yeah,
I'm just happy that I average a winning season. Like I don't think I ever been bottom two.
yeah.
Ever.
I've
Um.
been bottom two. It's not,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just one of those things, injuries sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'd be interested to see how Sean's team was if he didn't get, I mean, he lost his top two picks with Tua and
Yeah.
CMC.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn.
I.
And it's funny because now like Joe Mar's number one in the league and he has Tua. And I'm like, of course.
Yeah. Yeah. And two has been
um,
going off like
yeah.
crazy.
Hey man, I'm just happy to be here. I started 0-4. I almost
Yeah.
started 0-5 in
Yeah.
this league, and I'm in the playoffs. So,
Yeah.
I went on a good run. So we'll see.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, that was nice and fun. Time to wrap it up though. It's getting close to time.
Yeah.
Um, like always, before we wrap it up, any final thoughts?
Uh no, I think I'm good, just exciting to be football again, or in that area in time of football to where we almost
Yeah.
don't have to care about our our make believe teams.
Yep.
So
All right, man. Well, thanks.
Yeah.
As always, have a safe holidays, and like we always say, before we wrap it up, continue to talk with each other, keep thinking together, keep growing together, and we'll see y'all next time. Have a good night.